Hi fellas, welcome back to the channel, and today we're doing a review, but not a beer review, it's an equipment review. More precisely, it's a piece of equipment for fermenting your beer. It is the Sterilock. Now this Sterilock is the no water needed, all singing, all dancing, redesigned airlock. So you have your traditional airlocks, which are your S bubblers, or the, I haven't got one here to hand, but the ones that have got water in them with the cap over to let the gases out. But this one uses a different method, which I was unsure about. Inside this little airlock is like a, I can only describe it as like a pumice stone. It's a block of microporous holes that allow gases to escape, but don't allow gases in, thus creating the one-way road for the gases to escape and nothing nasty to get in to ferment your beer with. So this was very kindly sent to me directly from Sterilock. I contacted them saying I'd like to do a review on it, and they sent me an email back pretty much the same day saying yes, let's have your address and we'll send you one out. And to be fair to them, it came in about 2 days flat. So when you buy this airlock, in the pack it comes with the airlock and an odour absorbing capsule, which you take this little cap off the top of the airlock and it just sits inside there. So if you're fermenting like a lager or something that's giving off sulphury smells, or your partner doesn't like the smell of fermenting beer and you're fermenting beer in your home, then the cap that sits inside there, the capsule, will absorb the odours. You have to keep buying the odour absorbing capsules if you wish to continue capturing the odours, but that's it, that's what it comes like, and we're going to put it through its test. Let's go! Right, so we've got this pale ale, she's in the fermenter, yeast has been added, so now it's time to fit an airlock. So in goes the bung, like so, and the sterilised Sterilock. In she goes, and that's it. So I'll now get her in the fridge and we will monitor her, see how she does. Oh my god, that doesn't look good, and the fridge door is open. Uh-oh. Oh god. Blowout. So we've had a vigorous fermentation on the pale ale, and as you can see she's still fermenting. And obviously what's happened is there's been nowhere for it to go. The Sterilock has not allowed anything to come out, obviously because of the microporous little holes, and it's ended up forcing the bung out the top. So now I've got to clean it and reassemble it and just let it run its course. What I'd normally do is just put a blow off in now, but for the sake of this video I'm going to carry on with the Sterilock. But this is day 3 and it ain't looking too good. So it's day 4 for the brew with the Sterilock, and let's see if we've had any more issues with her. Oh my goodness. Well, we're looking clean. It's a good sign. We've had a bit of action there. She's blown a little bit more, so I'm going to have to clean that up. Oh, Jesus. Completely clogged. I don't know if you can see that, but it completely just clogs up that tiny little hole. As soon as it hits that microboard block that's in there, there is nowhere for the gases to go. It just pushes the bung completely out of the carboy. So I'm going to have to clean her up again. Alrighty fellas, alright fellas, alright. So the pale ale is, well, I think she's done fermenting, so we're gonna check her. I'm going to check her now, then we're going to crash cooler, and then we're going to get it into the keg. A frigga hell, yeah. So let's take this off here. this off here. I've had to put this on because I've had to clear the clean the bung and airlock. So I had another blow off. Bring it right with it. Plenty on there. Leave that for a sample to taste. 10-15 children, 10-15. Well, that tastes good. Oh, that tastes friggin' good. Get this bung back on her. Get this bung back on her. So what we're going to do now is chill her. Chill her friggin' down. Friggin' rights. Right, so we've replaced her again. We're all clean, sanitised, replaced. It's done fermenting. It's finished at 10-15. So now we're going to try with the crash cooling and see if she copes with that. So what I'm expecting to see is this plastic carboy crumple on the sides, which is what happens when this is sealed. This liquid condenses, contracts with the temperature, and because there's no way of the air getting in, it crumples. So if it crumples, then it ain't letting air in through the airlock. So let's see if she does it. Wish me luck. Going in. And as if by magic, ladies and gentlemen, there is the pail on tap. So here she is. She'd done fermenting. We went through all the traumas, and there she is. And she tastes pretty damn good. Really good. So the problems I thought would happen with this airlock did happen. Them microfine porous holes, or that microporous block which is in here, cannot handle any amount of blow off. It just cannot physically do it because the holes are so tiny. They're only designed to vent the gases and to stop gases coming in even. So anything coming through it is, other than gas, is gonna block it up. And when it blocks up big time. I mean, I don't know whether you can see that. That hole is tiny, and so even if you have a small blow off, it just sort of reaches the top. It will eventually clog that up and shoot the top off, as you saw, because there's nowhere for the gases to go once it's blocked. And then cleaning it out is a pain in the arse. It's just a pain. You have to take this completely off, and then the cap comes off, which is no problem. The bit that comes off that you can get into, which is a bit of a wider bore, has nothing there to clean because nothing's got through. And so you've got to fiddle about trying to get in there, and it's quite deep. It's about 3/4 up the length of this is when the microfine porous starts. So you've got all that to try and get into to clean it out. So you end up having to rinse it through with hot water. You don't want to use any soap on it, so you're having to try and jet it out. The microfine holes, the porous block gets blocked up, and so you have to, what I was doing was, I was just getting my squirty bottle with the Star San in and really jetting it in to try and clear it out. Now, all while you're fiddling about doing that, your beer is unprotected because you have the airlock in your hand. So those of you that brew, you know that when your beer is fermenting, you don't want to touch it. You don't want to keep taking off the airlock and buggering about with it, because when that happens, you are increasing the chance of an infection getting in there and things dropping in that shouldn't be in there. With this, it happened to me. It happened to me twice, and twice I had to try and cover it over with tin foil that had been sanitised, to go and wash it, to then put it back, make sure everything was sanitised again when it went back on. It was just a nightmare. It wasn't enjoyable to use one bit. And I'm sorry if this is such a negative review of it, but you should take this information on board and try to work with it. And I'm sure I won't be the only one that's coming out with stuff like this if you look round, because I'm not making it up. That is the problem you've got. Now, if you are brewing using the traditional airlock, and then say you want to get your beer into secondary and store it somewhere else, and where you're storing it in the house is quite tight for headroom, then boom, this is what you want to use. The fermentation's pretty much done its thing. Any bit of fermentation left, this is going to handle it. There's going to be no blow-offs, and you have a nice sort of short airlock, so you can get it into the tight spaces. But that's about the only advantage to this, having this, is that what I've just explained. Or if you are short brewing a kit beer perhaps, and your fermenter is quite sort of deep, so if you're using a fermenting bucket, your 26 litre fermenting bucket, and you've short brewed it, you've got plenty of headspace for any activity to sort of build up and not get right to the top and blow it out. That's when you could probably use one of these. But if you are brewing something that's got well looked after yeast in it, a well oxygenated wort in a carboy or a brewer's bucket, and it is full, and you kick off with a good fermentation, this is going to give you big problems. And the cold crashing part of it, my goodness, I didn't even handle that. I cold crashed it for an entire day, and when I got back from work to see if it had crumpled the edges in, if it had created a good seal, it hadn't done. So I ended up having to remove it and revert back to the old cling film over with elastic band round. I didn't want to risk it anymore, so it failed at that. Tried to redesign the wheel and it ain't working. Just ain't working. But there you go, that's the Sterilock. Pick one up for yourself if you want to. Don't take my word for it, make your own goddamn mind up. But that's it, guys. Big fail from Sterilock. I am saddened to say, because they were good enough to send it out. Unfortunately, it's no good. Never mind. Well, that is it for another video. Now we've done upsetting the guys at Sterilock. I do apologise. No, I don't. Some of this video, kids, I don't want to do. And don't forget to subscribe. The button's down here. Subscribe, and you won't miss out on what's coming up next. Share the video, get it out there. And until next time, I'm out of here. Boop.